This is your final assignment for packaging design, and it's an overall branding assignment. You're going to be designing the label, but also the 6-pack or 4-pack carrier for the beverage of your choice. You can choose an existing brand if you want to and redesign it, just as we did with the box redesign project. Or if you want, you can create your own brand or your own new product. It can be a soda, it can be juice, it can be anything. If you're of age, it can be an alcoholic beverage. It just needs to be able to have a bottle that's going to fit in a carrier. I don't want you to do anything that's in a can because part of this is doing the label design on here. You're going to follow the same steps we've done on all the other projects. Step one will be research and inspiration. So create a document that has all the historical graphics if it's an existing brand that you're doing. Do the competitors, and then put together any inspiration, color palettes, fonts, things you think you might use on your design. Now, you don't have to actually use those. Your path may go a different direction, but at least it will get you thinking on the direction you want to go. You do need to do 3 different sets of thumbnails, 3 completely different looks. That would be a logo, and if you are doing an existing brand, I want you to redesign the logo. The carrier box panel graphics, so show me what the long side looks like. Then you'll want to do a label design, just a rough thumbnail design of the label. I put plural on there. Some bottles don't just have the label on the bottle, they'll also have a label on the neck. You can also do a bottle cap design. If you look through the lecture, you'll see there's some examples of the design being carried over onto the bottle cap. So when you do your thumbnails, you just need to give me a rough idea of what the long and the short side looks like. The reason for that is because you have no control how it's going to be displayed in the store, and it may be displayed each way, so you want to think about both dimensions on your carrier. You also want to do a rough thumbnail of the logo that you plan on using with it. If you want to, again, optionally do a bottle cap, you can do that. Remember, this is the blueprint for your comp, so when you show thumbnails, make sure there's a clear indication of the type of fonts or graphics you want to use. Any type of imagery, it could be photographic or it could be illustrated, and you'll see examples of both in the lecture. The dates down below, your research will be due April 19th, thumbnails due April 26th. The work in progress crit will be May 5th. That will be required, a Zoom meeting. And then the final critique will be on the final day of class, which is May 19th. So step 1 and 2 here, research and the thumbnails. Then you're going to be doing the layout and design. There are mandatory elements that need to go into your design. So for the carrier, and again, you won't know which side is going to be displayed in the store, so you need to design both the long side or the short side. If you're doing a 4-pack, they may be closer to squares, but you still need to do both. You'll need to put the product name with your new logo, the manufacturer. Usually there's a larger company that creates these. We'll talk about how to get those logos through Brands of the World. Obviously, you want to create compelling graphics and also create some powerful selling copy on there, and you'll see examples of that. You need to put the size of the bottles that are in here, so you can see some examples, 2 fluid ounces. On the bottle label, obviously the product name and manufacturer. Now keep in mind, on a bottle, your label is going to be wrapping around. It's not going to be facing flat to your viewer or your consumer. So you need to take that into consideration so that the sweet spot that is facing the consumer is going to be able to read the name or the logo of the company. A lot of beverages are also sold in individual bottles, so it needs to be able to have a real impact in both a carrier but also as an individual bottle. On the bottles, you'll need to put the nutrition label, which you're now familiar with. You can put a barcode on there. I'll show you how you can create a fake barcode. And then you also need to include the redemption value, which varies state to state. So you can see here all the various states. It's either 5, 10, or 5 cents or 10 cents on there. The bottle cap, if you want to do that, that's optional. I'll give you extra credit for it. If you want to do a second label up the neck of the bottle, again, that's optional, and I'll give you extra credit for it. And then finally, you're going to be doing a 3D render of both your carrier and your bottle. For this, it really works best in dimensions, but I'll show you. I'll do demonstrations on how you can mock it up in both Photoshop as well as working in dimensions. And then you're going to turn this in as two separate files in the PDF format. So file 1 would be your last name, 05A, which would be basically your template showing me all your graphics that you did for your logo and your label and your carrier sides. And also the second file will be the 3D render, which would be your last name, 05B on there. You can upload either of them to Canvas or Gmail, but especially on this assignment, the files may be really large, and so you may have to use WeTransfer and upload them to the class Gmail account. Again, they'll be due on the last day of class, which is May 19th.